Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And we had our concert last night. That was a lot of fun. It's always fun to play music with those really good musicians. I'm just glad they let me play with them. It was just a good time. And I was so glad that Leon was there, a banjo player. He is so good on that banjo. It just makes the evening for me. But he's so good on every instrument, and that's the truth. He like I've said before, he can play mandolin. He can just play circles around me on the mandolin. He's really good. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to all the contributors last night, and I have a list of the names. I'm just going to read the names, no amounts or anything. If your name isn't being read here, I would just say that something happened. Maybe it didn't go through or something like that. But these are the names that I have from last night from both PayPal and for the Super Chats. So here they are. Andrew Simpson, Matthew Scott, Richard Herbranson, Richard Polite, Gary Hayden, Edward Wooten, Marianne Acker, Carolyn Willard, Diane Bennett, Tammy Phillips, Sue Peel, and Mike Love. And that's 12 folks that contributed, and I really want to say thank you very much. Many of them contributed quite a lot. So I thank you very, very, very much. I really do. It does help me to give the band a little bit there, and pay their gas and that type of thing. We do split it all perfectly evenly. No one gets more than anybody else. And anyway, I just thank you very, very kindly. I also found out who sent me that song, the Jerry Rosa wall hanger song, and that was Gary Smith. So thank you, Gary, for the song. Appreciate it very much. And in other news, I made a little bit of a victory on the Polaris Ranger, just in terms of the wiring. I really can't overstate how complicated the wiring harness is on that sucker. And in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't just go ahead and buy a wiring harness. Even one of those brand new ones for $1,000. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I bought a new one or a used one. I don't think I could get it installed. And that's the truth. I don't think I could install it if I bought one. It's so tight and so hard to get to all the places. And there's so many, it's a spaghetti. There's wires going everywhere off of this harness. I don't think I could install it, and that's the truth. I really do not think I could accomplish that even if I had a brand new one. So I made a slight victory in just trying to repair what's there. So take a look at this. Well, maybe there's hope. Maybe. If I take this panel off, if it'll come off, maybe I can see something. Maybe. So I've got these pullers here to pull these plastic pins. And they're hard to get out too. Kind of like pulling teeth. I got 2 of them out. I got at least 2 more to go. And then I've got to pull the actual grommet out also. I'll get it off and I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. Well, yes, we can see some wires in there. Is it easy to get to? Heck no, but at least that's better than not seeing anything. At least now I can see where these wires are maybe attaching and going if I take my time and try to figure it out. I'd like to be able to know which wire goes to what. That's the problem, trying to run it all the way back in such a massive wire harness. It's a mess. It's not going to give me any hope at all. Here's the wires I'm trying to trace down. You can't see it, but they go into this big tree of wires right here. This is a huge, giant tree of wires. All of this. It goes here. And then there's just a giant ball of mass right up here where they've all been wired together. Oh my gosh. It's just a nightmare. A continuity tester works if the wires are good, but I don't even know if these wires are good. That's the problem. I'm just going to try doing a bunch of continuity tests, and maybe I'll get lucky and figure something out. Well, my friends, I finally think I've caught a break. And I'm seriously telling you, it's the first break I've caught in quite a while. I was testing the wrong thing. There's 4 wires on this plug that goes to the regulator, and there was 4 wires on the plug that goes to the stator, so I assumed those went straight through. And I did get a bit of continuity, but only on 1 wire. Well, after I realized the plug with 3 on it going to the regulator is the one that's burned up, and the stator's burned up, I thought, well, maybe those go direct. And so sure enough, I checked that, and I'm pretty sure I've got it figured out here. So listen, see if you can hear it. You can hear it? Now I'll move to the next one, and I'll move to the next one. Even though the plugs are burned up, it looks like the wires are still good. So now I'm going to check ohms on there and see if the ohms are, not too crazy high or something. As long as they're not too high, if I put new plugs on these wires, I shouldn't have to run new wires as long as the ohms are good. So let me check that. Let's see here. There's the first one. According to that, these wires are still good, even though the plugs are burnt. I've ordered new plugs, except that I didn't order a new 3-prong plug. Maybe I can clean the 3-prong plug up enough to continue using it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to go yet. I don't know if I'm going to replace it all. I did order a whole fuse blocks, and I was going to run all these wires through a fuse block and do it that way. But that requires running those wires the whole distance. And that's not easy to get through here. I mean, it's possible, but I got to think about it some more and decide my best plan of action. But it looks like the wires are still good. Woo-hoo! It's about time something went my way on this sucker. The parts that I've ordered, there's quite a few, and most of that's supposed to be here today, and then some of it tomorrow. And hopefully, at least I can get the engine back together, and I'm going to make sure I get that sucker torqued down correctly. Anyway, I should be able to get the engine back in it over the weekend. With any real luck, I might even have it running and doing well by Monday. You never know. I thought of another scenario here it's just like it's a trail of what happens is to try to understand the problem. And I had trouble with the throttle position sensor on this thing for a long time. Well, I bought that tool to set it, and it took me a number of times, even with the tool, to figure it out and get it set correctly. Well, a couple of weeks before this all went in the toilet, it was running really good. I had it working great. I mean, you could start it and it just purr like a kitten. It was running good, accelerate good. Everything was just almost like it was brand new. Well, then the belt broke on it, the drive belt, which is a common thing that's going to happen on these things. I don't care if they're brand new or old or whatever. So every once in a while, the belt's going to break, you know. And so I got a new belt, put it on there. It wouldn't run right anymore. And I thought, why would the belt breaking cause it not to run right again? So, you know, I checked the throttle position sensor with that tool again, and it seemed to be okay, but it wouldn't run right. It was run, but it wouldn't run like it did before the belt broke. Well, after going through all of this mess that I've been through, now I think I understand what all happened. When the belt broke, that probably torqued that flywheel just enough that it halfway broke the key off. It probably didn't break the key all the way at that time. It probably just moved it and nudged it. Well, that just moving it a tiny bit gets it out of time. You know, it has to be exactly where it's supposed to be in time. If it moves just a few thousandths of an inch, it's not in time anymore. So I think when the belt snapped, that flywheel, you know, torqued that key just enough where it still ran. And then, you know, I ran it like that for several weeks. And I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't run good again, you know. And then all of a sudden, it wouldn't run at all. It wouldn't start or anything. And well, that's where the key broke completely in two. And then when it fooled me and it ran for 3 seconds, sounded really good for 3 seconds, that was where the key lined back up just temporarily. And yeah, this just can't. Did you ever hear it's not easy being me? Well, anyway, that's what happened. I'm just 99.9% sure that's the actual scenario. And I'm pretty sure that if I get a new key back in there and get this wiring mess straightened out, I really think it's going to run like $1 million. I think it's going to be like almost like brand new again. So there you go. Now, here's a little video that I made this morning. Just 'cause I think I was celebrating. Sure is a beautiful day out here today. It's cool. It's probably maybe 60 degrees, maybe. And bright and sunny. The sun shined a little bit yesterday, but today it looks like it's going to shine. It's been a really dreary week. Drizzle rain the whole time. The ground's nice and damp and wet, so I mean it's a good thing. I wish we would have got more rain so that, you know, the springs would start flowing better and things like that, but at least we got some rain. And just a really beautiful, beautiful day. I was just notified that a fellow by the name of Clyde that stayed here at our rental retreat over the last few days, he just emailed Sue and asked her if I had gotten his email about working on his guitar. Well, heck, if I'd have known he wanted me to work on his guitar, I would have worked on it while he was here. But he's gone now, so I don't know why he didn't say something while he was here. If he, you know, I don't know. He said he didn't want to bother me. But if anybody comes here and you want me to work on your instrument, be sure you let me know. I'm sorry I missed his communication. Apparently he sent me an email. I didn't see an email. I saw one about auction guitars, but I didn't see one about working on his instrument. But anyway, just don't ever be afraid to ask me to work on your instrument if you're staying here. I'll be happy to do it. The ducks look like they're having a good time. What do they call it? Living their best life. That one's up in the weeds. That makes me wonder if she's not laying an egg up there or something. In fact, I bet she did or is, one of the two. Go up there and check. Yeah, I think she did. I'm going to go up there and look. I see something kind of white looking. It may just be a leaf. Can't tell. Yeah, she was up in here. I don't see any eggs. So she was maybe just eating bugs or something, or weeds or whatever. Anyway, you can see the creek's healthy, but it's not up or anything. After, a week's long rain, I mean, it's probably flowing a little better than it had been, but not a whole lot. We might as well get a bright sunny picture of the pond and the water wheel house too while we're here. Our little tour walking around. I just felt like I needed to get away from the Ranger and do something else. So there's a water's just crystal clear. Can you see the bottom there? It's just crystal clear. Yeah. Let's see how much water's flowing out down here, out of the pipe. Now you remember, those of you who maybe don't necessarily know, but all this water used to be going into JR's field over there. It used to drain out way over there and go into his field and mess his field up. So I moved it all over here, raised the water level about 6 inches when I did that. But that is the amount of water coming out of the spring, and that is the amount of the water that is turning the water wheel. And my assumption is the water wheel's still turning, though I haven't looked at it today. So let's go over there and see how it's doing. So this is the field that used to be getting soaked by that water. It just ran out there and just soaked the field. So now that's not happening anymore. You can also see the moss stuff that's grown in the pond here that we still haven't been able to figure out how to get rid of. Bad deal, bad deal. And you can see the knees growing up from the cypress tree there, a bunch of them. I'm not a real fan of those things, those knots coming up like that. You can see the trees are turning. I think these are the most amazing trees to me because they look like evergreens, but they lose all their foliage in the fall. So they're not evergreens, I don't guess, obviously, but they look like it. Even their little needles look like it, but then they lose all these in the fall. And you can see the water wheel is turning, but slowly. It's not enough to generate power. Let's see if we got a bunch of leaves in here. Not too bad. I'll clean out the few that are here. I try to clean it out every couple of weeks or so just to make sure it doesn't get overwhelmed with leaves. And quite a few here. Guess I'll come around this side and get them out. Well, that helps. That makes the water flow a little smoother and seems to turn just a hair better when you do that. You can see the better flow there coming out and more accurate. And anyway, I'm glad the old water wheel project's over with, but I would like to see some water coming through the thing so I could try the generator to see if it would turn it. I have a feeling it's going to be a problem. I'm sure when it's flowing really hard, it'll turn it, but I think it's going to take quite a bit of flow before it'll turn the generator. If you don't know, generators get harder to turn with the more power they're putting out. And so, if you just turn it slow and it's not putting out much power, it's not too hard to turn. But once you start turning it a little faster and the power starts, it cogs up. It just gets harder to turn. That's why your engine on your car will you can feel it pull down or hear it pull down when like your alternator kicks in or something like that. because the alternator is the thing that's charging your battery, and it takes juice, it takes power to do that. So anyway, there's no free energy. No free energy at all. And you might say solar is free. It's closer to free, but it's not free, especially when you pay for all this solar equipment. But anyway, everything spends energy to make power, one way or the other. And the old ducks they just love digging around and eating stuff in the creeks. They just spend all day long doing that. And they turn that into duck eggs. Those are good laying ducks. They really are. They lay 3 eggs every single day. So we have lots of duck eggs. And if you don't know, if you didn't know and you came here to eat eggs, you wouldn't know the difference. They don't really taste much different at all. Maybe just a little richer. People that that know what they are, they claim they can really taste a big difference. I have about the most sensitive taste in the world, and I can taste a slight difference. I'm not sure you could fool me. I think I could tell the difference, but it's not significant, is my point. And those of you who aren't really familiar wouldn't probably notice the difference if somebody slipped a duck egg in there on you. They're a little bigger, so you get more egg for your, for your work there, I guess, to make your eggs. You get a lot more eggs in your frying pan. Let's see here. I need to do this too. This is another project that has been delayed, and now it looks like Sue helped me out by filling it in partially, which is completely not helping me. I really wanted to keep the hole open and fill it full of gravel, but she gets overzealous on things and pushed dirt into the hole here with the tractor or something, or bobcat or something. So I'll have to dig that back out, put some gravel in there, and get this filled up. I didn't fill it up purposely because I was wanting to make sure it's fixed, and I believe it is fixed. It's been sitting there for quite a while now. And I'll also have to get that winterized. I'll put something around it, like a tub, and fill it full of sawdust. It's not very deep in the ground. If it was deep in the ground, I wouldn't worry about it. But because that one's not very deep, I would like to put something around it and help insulate it a little bit. So, well, I think that's going to conclude my walk around this morning. Hope you enjoyed it. Not sure what I'm seeing out there, but I believe it's turkeys. Yep, I'm pretty sure it is. We don't see turkeys here very often, or when we do, it's like it's hot and cold. There's times we don't see any at all, and then all of a sudden we just start seeing them everywhere. So I hope it's a good sign. I hope we're on the uphill swing here and we start seeing them again. They're way out there in the field. See, you can see there, that's a long way out there. I've got it really zoomed up in order to see them. Looks like there's 3 of them. I can see them better on my phone here in the zoom. I've got it zoomed into 20 power. I can see them better now than I can with my naked eye. With my naked eye, they're just little tiny dots out there. No telling what you're going to see here at any given time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little walk around there. I just thought maybe something different. Let's go through the comments and see what's going on today. 121 viewers at the moment. David Tharp says, howdy everybody. Wonderful play along last night. Guest, great bluegrass music. Well, thank you. And B.H. Ringer says, good afternoon from Nova Scotia. And Brian Byler, happy Friday. And let's see, Joe Cool USA, have a nice afternoon. B.H. Ringer says, boo, because it is Halloween. I was going to do something, cheeky and wear a mask or something, but I figure I'm frightful enough. I didn't see any point in trying to scare you completely to death. Let's see. Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon, Jerry. Wonderful show last night. Thank you. Jeff RP, hello, everyone. Just updated my iPad to the latest and greatest operating system, and it still works amazing. Yeah, well, it's always a relief when they do work after you upgrade them, that's for sure. Gino Hitch says, Jerry and friends, wonderful music last night. Hope the wiring turns out good on the Polaris. Well, me too. I did buy I ordered a fuse panel, to put in there, and I was going to, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, to run those stator wires through a fuse. I don't see as it would hurt anything, but I have a feeling I'll be replacing a lot of fuses. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. I'm going to do some research on that. If anybody knows for sure whether I should or should not, let me know. But I'm thinking about maybe, since I got to put a new plug on the end of that wire anyway, I'm thinking about running those wires into the fuse box first, and then coming out into the plug after it's been fused. So I don't know. We'll see. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Wayne Blitz, good afternoon. Don Nice says, what a great show last night. Well, thanks. Those are some really good musicians. They spoil you when you got to go out and play, maybe just at a jam or something. I mean, I still have fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy playing with pretty much anybody, as long as you can keep time and, relatively get close to the chords. I'm not a stickler that you have to get it all right, but it's, sometimes they don't get anything right when you're out jamming at a public place, and then it gets a little irritating, and you take for granted to be able to play with folks like I was playing with last night. Oh my gosh, they are so good. Don Nice, JP4ER says, Jerry, I think that's the first time I heard the Mirror song with the band. It was awesome. Well, thanks, Don. It's really, I'm just now getting comfortable with it because, I put that extra verse in there about the turn of the century type thing, because I was trying to do something every 20 years and I couldn't make up my mind what the next 20 years was going to be. And it turned out that made sense, really, because that was a big deal, when you change centuries there. Michael Tuick says, hey, Rosenmeister and Bill Mumbo, how you folks? See, 40 at 49ers 616. That's Gary Hayes, I guess. Says, great show, Jerry. Good to see missing in action. Leon back. Missed the banjo. Yeah, Leon's so good. He's kind of like me, though. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. He's playing with lots of people all the time. He's in high demand to be playing a lot of shows. He'll be leaving, I think, I think he's going to stay till January this year, so he should be at our Christmas show. If you didn't hear last night, we made an executive decision. We're not going to have a band concert in November, but we will have a Christmas show on Thursday, December 18th. That would be Thursday evening. Let's see. Great concert last and Lester Cunningham, Jerry. Tammy Phillips is my daughter. She's here, Army caretaker for a week. Well, it's good that you're with your daughter. That's good. David Tharp says the inventors of the brochure have both suddenly passed away. Rest in peace. Pamphlet, I get that one. I'm not sure I get the next one, though. And her husband, Lee. Yeah, don't get that part. Richard Herbranson, great show last night. Loved the music. World's greatest mandolin sounded great. Thanks for the show. Well, thank you. I felt like I was doing pretty good considering all the hand trouble I have. I did start vibrating my hands around 5 o'clock yesterday evening and vibrated them for 30, 40 minutes. It did help. And the thing is with the arthritis, and most of you already know this, I'm sure, if you've got arthritis, if you keep moving, it's fine. But the moment you stop, it gets stiff on you really fast. And so as long as I keep playing and keep moving, it's good. Now, this morning, it's stiff as a poker today. I'm not sure I could play anything right now. I could after I get it warmed up. That's how it works down in Mountain View. Down in Mountain View, we play so much that I get to the point where I'm playing pretty well down there because I'm got it all worked out. Then overnight it gets stiff. Then next morning it's tough getting it going again. But then if you keep it going, you can pretty much play all day long. It's just the way arthritis is. It's like when I finally sit down, it's really hard getting up that first time. Mike Saba 3510 says, Jerry, the guitars sell yet? Well, that's a good question. I have an email from a person right now who sounds like they're very, very strongly interested in buying the 1970s Martin, a D28. I priced it at $3,500, and it sounds like they're ready to make the deal. So I have to get back to them on that. I saw that note just before we went live here. So other than that one, though, I don't think so. I don't think any of the other ones have any prospects at the moment. Don Nice says, Jerry, the Mirror Song is one of my favorites. Well, thank you. I'm kind of liking that one quite a bit. It's a little bit on the sad side if you think about it, but on the other hand, it's okay. David Thorpe says, I know a fellow who got hit in the head by a bottle of Coke. It's okay, though. Everybody knows that Coke is soft drink. Yeah. David Thorpe says, thumbs up, y'all. If you would do that, that definitely does help. I would appreciate it. And again, I just want to say thank you to all those that contributed last night. I really, really do appreciate it. It makes it a little more incentive for somebody like Leon to drive that far. I mean, he's coming a long way. It's close to a 2-hour drive. It's not quite 2 hours, but it's close. Let's see. Jim Garrett, 5144, says, hey, Jerry, on your Polaris, I would double-check your voltage regulator. On motorcycles, it's fairly common when the voltage regulator goes out, it will fry the stator. Yeah, well, thanks, Jim. I've taken the regulator off, and I ordered a kit, an actual pairing of a regulator and a stator together. They came together as a kit. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm not even going to try to use the old regulator. But I appreciate the information there, and it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know which one's causing the problem. I really don't. I have no idea. I don't see any other reason why anything should fail. I mean, it looks like it should just work. If that's supposed to work, it looks like it should work because I don't see anything wrong other than the fact that those wires and the connectors were fried. I don't see anything else wrong, and I can fix that part, so hopefully it's going to work good. I've already disconnected the solar charger because I don't want that to be in the middle of anything when I connect it back up. I want it to just work off of the stator and the regulator and see what happens. We'll find out. Stay tuned. You'll find out for sure. Brian Biscup says, good afternoon from Elgin, Illinois. Well, good afternoon. And Leaflet Jerry. Husband Lee Leaflet. I don't get that. Her husband Lee Leaflet. I don't get that. I don't see how that ties together. I don't know what. I get the pamphlet, but the leaflet. No, I don't get it. Sorry. I hate to be the dummy here, but I'm the dummy. I don't get it. And Don says, nice red shirt. Well, thank you. I like red. No, I can tell it's not red, but, I'm just playing along. But it's, I don't know how I tell colors. I don't. Now, I honestly couldn't tell you for sure what this color is. I would say it's green. I'm guessing because I don't know for sure. That's part of my problem with, like, on these wires and things. I can pretty much tell which wires go together, mainly because this one looks like that one. It's not necessarily I know it's blue or I know it's red or whatever. I know that one looks like that one. That one don't look like that one. You know what I mean? I can tell like that. That's how I can tell wires go together or they don't go together. But it's complicated on this especially because, I don't know. A lot of these wires were burned, and so it's like you can't tell what color they were originally, and they're all burnt now. So what do you? I don't have anything to compare to, So the continuity helps me figure that out. I can tell that this end of this wire goes to that end of that wire, So anyway, did you ever hear it's not easy being me? Because it's true. It really is true. Whether you believe it or not, it's true. But I wouldn't trade. I'm fine with it. Let's see. Pamphlet and leaflet. Gotcha. Flett is the last name, and husband Lee, his last name is Flett. Got it. I got it now. I get it. All right, I got it. Bill Wells says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. All right, I got it. Like I said, I hate to be the dummy, but sometimes I'm the dummy. That's just all there is to it. 114 viewers, thank you all for being here. I'm going to probably just sit down and relax for a little while and wait for the deliveries to get here. And then I'm going to go back down there and torque that dang flywheel on that shaft, assuming that one of those keys in that variety pack fits. Wouldn't that be the bummer if it doesn't? One of those keys won't fit. That'd just be my typical luck. Y'all have a good one. We will see you on Monday, if not before.